Hi everyone, so today I wanted to share with you one of my favorite features on the Olympus E-M1 Mark II, and that's being able to change the color of the grid lines and focus point on the back of your live view monitor and or your EVF. And it's very handy feature, so let's go ahead and go into the menu, and first let's just get some grid lines onto the live view. So we'll go into the menu, and I've already done a factory reset, but let's go down to the custom menu. And we're going to scroll down to menu D3 where we have grid settings. And then you'll notice we have display color, which is where we can change the color of the grid lines. And then we can turn the grids on or off, and then we can apply these to the EVF. So you can have the grid lines show up on the live view monitor and the EVF at the same time, which is turned on by default, or you can just have it only on the live view monitor itself and not in the EVF. But we'll just leave this on for now. But let's go ahead and turn on a grid pattern. And then we have a bunch of choices here. This is my personal favorite one, but we'll just start off with a simple one here, rule of thirds. And click OK, then we'll tap the shutter button. And now you'll see that we have sort of a rule of thirds grid line pattern in display. And this is what just about every Olympus camera has, but as you can see, it's a little hard to see the grid lines, especially on a dark image like this. If you look over to the right, the grid lines kind of disappear into the dark areas. So if you're using this grid pattern in dark, night photography, things like that, it's almost useless, really. So what I've been doing for a long time in this camera is I changed the grid line patterns to another color. And one of Peter Forsgard's video reminded me of this feature, and then he said it was something he saw on Joe Ellis's website. So I'm kind of a Johnny-come-lately when it comes to showing you guys this feature, but it is something I have been using a long time. I've just never done a tutorial on it. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go back into the menu and go to grid settings. And this first line item here is preset 1. And you'll see that we have two presets, so that just means we can program two different colors into the camera. If I click over to the right again, you'll see we get presented with kind of this weird way of changing colors of the grid lines. I wish Olympus had rather put up like a little color box where we just kind of scroll through the D-pad and pick a color, but they decided to give it to us in this form, which is RGB. So we have our red channel here at 38. We have our green channel here at 38, the blue channel at 39, and then finally we have an alpha channel, which is basically the transparency of the grid lines. So if you want to be able to see through them a little bit, you would just lower this number all the way down to as low as 20%, and then it just rotates back to 100%. I personally prefer 100%, and if you want to say a red grid line pattern, how would you get there from here? Well, these values inside of each channel go from 0 to 255. And if I wanted all red, I would just crank up the red. Let me go the other way. I can go down because it just wraps around back to 255 like so. And you can see the red outline around the live view now is showing the color that these three channels will give you. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off green completely because I want it to be completely red, for example, like so. And we'll turn blue off. There. I'm going to click OK again, click OK again. And now we're back to the menu, and I can tap the shutter button. And now you can see we have a nice red grid line pattern that's easy to see compared to the black one. But I wouldn't choose red, for example. My favorite color of choice here for this particular feature is green. So let's change this to green. So all we have to do is go back into the menu. It takes us to D3 grid settings by default. I'll click over to the right, click over to the right. Click over to the right again, and I'm going to turn red channel off by just clicking up on the D-pad. Go over to the green and click down one, to give us the maximum green value. Blue is at 0, alpha channel's at 100%. So I'm going to click OK, click OK again, click OK again. Now we're back in the menu and tap the shutter button. And now we have a nice green pattern. And I'll tell you why I like this one the most, because let's pick blue, for example. We'll change this to 0 and we'll turn the blue channel to maximum. Now we have a nice blue pattern. So let me tell you why I don't like to use blue and I don't like to use red. And that's mainly because it interferes with another feature I like to use, and that's the highlight and shadow indicators. So let me go ahead and activate that real quick. So we'll go back out here, up to D1, go into info settings, go into live view, and I'm going to turn image only off, and we're going to adjust the custom 1 display. And highlight and shadows is now, oh, it's already been turned on. So if I click the info button here, now I have my histogram and my highlight shadow as I indicated in the menu. But if I go to a darker scene, you can see the shadow indicators come on, and then now the blue grid lines are a little bit harder to see. So if you're doing a lot of night photography and shooting in the dark, choosing blue would be a problem. And conversely, we have the same problem if we choose red, because the highlight indicators, as you can see, if I point up, you can see are red. So if I had red grid lines here, the red grid lines would kind of disappear into the highlight shadow information. So that's why when I go in, let's go back to menu D3, preset 1, and turn the green channel on, turn the blue off. And that's why I like green, because even if I go into the highlight shadows come on to blue, it's still easy to see. And if I blow the highlights out, you know, the green is still very easy to see. And that's my color of choice. And as you probably gathered though, we can save 2 different distinct colors. But we can change these. Like if I add the red channel back in at 255, which is basically 100%, because these values go, if I didn't mention it, between 0 and 255. If I mix red and green together, we get yellow. And if I mix blue and green together, we kind of get that skylight blue. And you can change these to whatever color you want. But let's say you want a different color. Let's say you want pink or lavender for some reason. It's very easy to find the color codes that you need, the RGB values. Just go to this website, and I'll put a link down below to it. Let me bring it up here. And you just pick a color that you like here in the box with your mouse. And this looks like kind of lavender to me. And we have 255, 51, and 55. So all I'd have to do is go back into the camera. Let's click the menu button, go into grid settings, preset 1, and I would change this to 255, and what was the other one? 51, 255, we'll go up to 51, and 255, and click OK, click OK, click OK, tap the shutter button, and now you can see that we have sort of this lavender purplish color now instead of red, green, or blue. All right, and that's pretty much it. So now you can easily change the color to anything you want by just looking up the RGB values on this website, plug them into your camera like I showed you, and you know, experiment a little, have some fun with it. You know, me personally, I just like green. It's very simple, but you can do anything you want. So thanks again for watching, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.